Happy Thursday. The weekend is here for some, right? For most of us, we still got to keep working. So we are live. And so if you're watching this, we are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So today we have an amazing guest, and then they're going to be talking to us about a specific asset class that I'm really interested to know more about. So today we have Rick and Crystal Rumer, and their hook is notes are the GOAT for passive cash flow. So Rick and Crystal, tell us a little bit more about you guys, and we're excited to know how this asset class works.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. Hopefully by the end of this day, you will realize that notes are the GOATs. That's our goal, to help you get there. Me and my story, our story, bought my first rental property when I was 19 in college. Went to work after college for JP Morgan Chase. Accumulated a few more rental properties. This is right around the housing crunch now of 2008-ish. And I was working for the bank and getting really tired of working for the bank. And there's a lot of pressure on us and whatnot. And all that to say, I had been taking some other real estate courses, and I came home one day and I said, hey babe, let's do this real estate thing full time. We can do this. I know we can do it. And then we can, make all the money for ourselves, as opposed to making JP Morgan, super rich, or such a good bank. Anyways, we went full time 2010 into real estate, started doing the fix and flips. Mm-hmm. We were buying those foreclosures straight from the bank right there, and did the fix and flips, did some rehabs, stopped doing the rentals, got into a little bit of owner financing. We even, a couple of years later, 2013, started an oil field housing facility down in South Texas, took advantage of the oil boom that was going on. So we've tried a little bit of everything in real estate, but where we've kind of settled in is owner financing and originating, creating notes. And so I think that's what we want to talk a little bit more about today.
And land development. And then to go a little bit further is originating mortgage notes and land as well, and the development of that.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, let's kind of break it down. And so for someone like myself, maybe interesting to invest with you guys, like how does it work? Like what's some of the returns and the previous returns you guys have had for your LPs? And then also, because in my mind, when I think about land, it's like there's nothing there. So how do you guys profit from that?
Yeah. Well, we borrow private funds to buy 100, 300, 400 acres at a time. Okay. So we'll have a note set aside that we owe somebody. We use private funds to borrow. We'll buy this land, and then we'll subdivide it into 5 and 10 acre ranchettes, oversized lots. Mm-hmm. And then we will sell these lots via owner financing and create that note. So we will carry the mortgage for them. But once again, we do have some debt service on that large piece of property. So we need to turn around and sell a few of these notes to recapitalize, to pay off our debt service. And then, of course, we'll keep some of the notes for ourselves, but we'll sell some other ones as well to then go purchase more land and kind of do it all over again. So on the note side, our typical notes are written at 10% for 15 years. Mm-hmm. You'll realize that when we say notes are the GOATs, they're not sexy. They're not sexy goats. They are base hits all the time. It is just base hit. I tell people, if you're venture capital, if you want to go big, if you want a 30, 40, 50% return, or unicorn, that's not us.
Right.
We're more for the slow and steady people that just want that passive monthly income. Buy $100,000 and you buy a note from us that's $100,000 written at 10% for 15 years. Mm-hmm. You're going to have over $1,000 a month in income coming in off of that. So for those of you who are listening and a little bit more astute, even though I told you 10%, you're going to receive $12,900 per year on a $100,000 note. And that's because some of it is interest and some of it is principal. These are amortized.
I
So
see.
you truly earn 10% on your money, but your cash flow is closer to 13%.
So I love this business model, first of all. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the kid buying Snickers bars at Costco, right? And then, but he's selling them one at a time because there's a market there, right? You're doing that with land. So it's like a foolproof business model: buy big and sell small.
Yeah, we like to say buy the pizza, sell by the slice.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to go to Costco and buy some Snickers, man. So. Yeah. So when you guys, with this land purchase, are they like predetermined as far as like they're going to be bought out by a developer? Because I know you guys work with developers as well, for developing each lot, or it's just.
No, these are what I'm speaking of in particular right now is
for the notes.
For the notes.
Okay.
No developer involved. We will do some minor horizontal. Once again, imagine we buy 100 acres, we subdivide it into 10-acre tracts. Mm-hmm. We'll put fences around it, culverts, driveway. We'll make sure everybody has road frontage and power. But that's all the development we're going to do, and we do that ourselves. We don't sell to a developer per se. We sell to the end user who wants to build their own place and have their oversized lot all to themselves. We've been doing this since 2016, this model, but we saw a big uptick after COVID because people just wanted to get out from the city. Right. They wanted to get out, and we're generally, our business model is 20-30 minutes outside of town, but still within the Texaplex, within that golden triangle.
Oh, nice. Okay. So talking about that, so you guys focus only in Texas or other states as well?
Primarily Texas. Okay. And then we do the same model up in Arkansas. We've done it a few times up there. And that's where we focus on this particular business model. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So let's talk more about the development you guys got, or working with a developer, project. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
And this is completely separate from the note. Right. So we've got the note side with land and residential, and then we've got the land development with residential developers.
Okay. We've got a project we're working on up in Arkansas. It's about 30 minutes outside of Little Rock. And it's at an intersection where they're building the first Buc-ee's in Arkansas. So it's kind of a big deal. There's, I think, Chewy's, Mexican, Tex-Mex is there, and there's going to be a 20 different restaurants. I think closer to 10 that have bought already. Regardless, we got under contract a 62-acre parcel of land. And we've been going through the entitlement process with this, getting all of the approvals from the county, from the fire department, et cetera, to get all of these lots papered, to get them all pre-plat approved. And at this point, we have two exits. We can either borrow some funds and go ahead and do the development, i.e. do the roads, the water, the sewer, the fiber, bring all of that in. Mm-hmm. And we currently also, what I didn't mention earlier, is we have a contract from a major nationwide developer that wants to buy all of these lots from us. They want to buy 75 at first, and then blocks of 50 every 9 months they're out. It's a total of 315 lots, give or take 5 or 10. And they want to buy these lots from us. So we can either sell them as what are called papered lots, mm-hmm. to somebody who wants to bring in the infrastructure, or we can provide that infrastructure, do all of that horizontal development, and sell them as ready to build lots to the national home builder.
Now, with something like that, how often does it, business model wise, how often does it end up going down this route where you're looking at a national developer, or how often does it go in the other route where you're going to parcel it out and sell individual pieces?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, they're going to be two different models
Okay.
and 2 different types of land that we're looking for. So each model is going to have its own buy box
Okay.
for the land. So the one that he was describing in Arkansas is also going to be closer to, it's not going to be as far out of the city. It's going to be more in the city where things are happening. Whereas the land notes, that's going to be 30 minutes outside of a major city where people are outside of that metroplex.
Okay.
area.
Got it. That explanation, Crystal, makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you. And so someone like, if I'm looking to invest, like what is the minimum to start with that you guys typically, work with?
Yeah, our notes, some of our Arkansas notes started around $45,000, and they go up to roughly about 100 there. Our Texas notes start around $100,000 and go up to $400,000 plus. So if you wanted to buy a note from us, we have to find one that's going to fit your buy box or your criteria, and we can go from there. But for newer investors and we have a lot of people that say, hey, never heard of this note process. I've never invested in debt before. I don't understand being the bank. Can I dip my toe in the water? We said, sure. What we'll do is we'll take a larger note and we'll create a partial. We will sell a percentage of a larger note to somebody for a minimum of $20,000. So for a minimum of $20,000, we'll take a larger, let's call it a $250,000 note, and we'll sell $20,000 to somebody, a 30, 35 to somebody else, 40 to somebody else. And then we will retain 10% of that as a lead investor there in case they ever faced a default or went into foreclosure. Then we can step to the forefront and kind of take the lead in that.
Yeah, definitely. I like how you guys explained the risk mitigation side of things. So that's a really good thing to know. And so with Arkansas, so you said 40,000, right? Am I correct?
Yes,
Yeah, 40,000. Okay. And then can you take someone who has a self-directed IRA? Can you take those funds from them as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's probably the number one ways that people invest with us. They invest through their self-directed IRAs. Of course, there's cash. A lot of people are arbitraging home equity lines of credit.
Right.
Every once in a while, we have somebody that wants to put trust funds away and buy this for their trust.
Whole life policies.
That's something that comes in my mind, for sure.
Yeah. This is more of like he was saying, it's a base hit every time, where this is that cash flow coming in each month. And there's no activeness on your side other than checking your bank account. All of our notes, so there is a process with vetting. We don't just go and lend to anybody. We go through a full vetting process just as a bank would. And so I would say we pride ourselves on the underwriting side and our paperwork. Good enough where a bank, an institution can buy from us, which some do as well. And so we go through, it's called a RMLO, a residential mortgage loan originator, on all of our loans. And so it can be a 50 to 100 page document that we're going through the full vetting process with a borrower, as well as then all of our notes are going to be serviced at a third-party servicer that's taking care of taxes, insurance, and then we also buy a lender's policy to guarantee that first lien position for our investors. So as an investor, they're going to get a full note package to do their due diligence, and the underwriting is going to be clean as well.
Do you do the underwriting yourself, or you hire a third-party underwriter?
That's what the third-party RMLO is. They'll look at not only borrowing history, of course, their credit score and their debt to income, but their employment history. They ask for bank statements. They look at their banking history, and that's what Crystal mentioned: 50 to 100 page. Here's who's you're lending to, and ultimately they make a recommendation to say, yes, the borrower has the means to repay this loan, and it looks like a good loan for both parties to participate in. The borrower also, the RMLO is vetting us, saying we're not taking advantage of them or putting them in a bad situation where they wouldn't be able to repay this loan, that they're not overextending themselves.
So if I were evaluating you guys to invest with you, place capital with you, what are the top 3 risks that I should consider, be aware of?
Well, the risk that a lot of people are trying to mitigate and then therefore coming to us is diversification. To add notes to your portfolio, whether you're into non-traditional, I love the non-traditional aspect of what y'all are discussing, but obviously people in the market and whatnot, if they want to participate in real estate but don't feel confident or don't want to be that active role, diversification is a big deal. Mm-hmm. Now, the biggest gotchas or that they need to watch out for on our side is ultimately if somebody defaults and they head to foreclosure. This does happen. Mm-hmm. I would say 2 to 4% of the time it will come into play. I feel like we're relatively safeguarded in the fact that once again, when we buy 100 acres and split it up into 10, and that one comes back to us, if we have to take that one back, well, we've established comps. We've got 9 other comps that show exactly what this land is worth. Mm-hmm. Theoretically, they've made some improvements to the land, and we have an attorney here that has handled this for us. There's a reason why we do this in Texas and Arkansas. It's a very lender-friendly state. Foreclosures are handled relatively quickly and inexpensively. So for $2,500 and a month later, we can get this property back. We can list it with the agents that have already sold that property, and we can get another borrower into that property relatively easily. And for you as a borrower, for you as an investor, we're not looking to do one deal with you. We're looking to do multiple deals with you. We're not going to not answer the phone when you call. We'd rather you call us and say, hey, my guys missed a payment this month. What do I need to do? Mm-hmm. I have a document that says, here's what you need to do. Here's the first steps, et cetera, et cetera. We want to hold your hands through that process. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest risk, I believe, in investing in notes. There's a reason why banks do this, right? Mm-hmm. There's a reason why they do it, because they calculate the risk up front, and it's a purely passive role. So they just sit there and enjoy that monthly income with the ultimate trump card in real estate, and that is first lien position. Right. So if things ever go south, you definitely have that card to play.
Do you have any sense of how? So you've established that it's 2 to 4% default rate. Now, do you have a sense of approximately how long into the loan that tends to happen? Do you have an average or median time frame?
No, I would say 3 to 5 years. If you were asking me to guess there, maybe 2 to 4.
Got it. The reason I'm asking, and you may realize this already, is you've been making money for 3 to 5 years or 2 to 4 years. And then, so the irony here is they default. Nobody wants that, but you're potentially getting a second bite of the same apple, right?
Yes, sir. Because
you're remarketing that property. And if you're fortunate, maybe it's appreciated. Maybe there's been improvements to it, all of the above, right? So that's a consideration too.
Yeah. And when we sell raw land, because of the fact that it's raw, inherently anything you do to it is going to increase the value. So when somebody drills a well or puts in a septic system, that's increasing the value of my collateral. That puts me in a good position. Right. We love it when they start building with sticks and bricks, because if they don't go get a construction loan for that refinances us out of first lien position, then that helps us in our position. If we were to ever take that property back, that house, that land, I mean, you can't separate the house from it. It all comes back to us. and we're the first lien position holder on there.
And our default rate is so low, but I don't remember any time that when we've had to turn around and take it back and resell it, that we didn't make more on the other side reselling it, because the value of the land went up and God's not making any more land. So,
and there's only more people moving to Texas. So, and we've created those comps. Once again, I can't overstate that enough. We've just sold 10 of them in a row at all very similar to prices. So if you do have to take one back, it's not like, where's the market going to be? What's the value of this? Man, land is steadier than single family homes. So the value is going to be there.
Right. So let's continue talking about risk mitigation. So when you have an LP, someone investing with you guys, with that, say $100,000, is that money spread between the plot of land that you guys have? So let's say if you have 10 plots of land, is it spread out through the entire plot, 10 plots of land? Sorry, I'm just stuttering here. Or is it specifically for one plot of land?
No, we're not. And I've heard you use LP a couple of times. We're not syndicating this land or creating a fund. If you were, we're selling these notes individually.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So technically you're owning that piece of land, that property, that parcel number right there. And that one is yours. But once again, we want to walk you through that process. If it ever were to go south, we can help you do that. But you are just investing in that one single property.
Okay.
We are not a fund.
Yeah, we're used to saying LPs a lot, so that's why. Yeah.
And usually on the acquisition side too, we're usually using one or two investors as well with private funds too. So on the acquisition side, we've actually never syndicated our deals. So we're either selling an individual note to a note investor, or we can do the partial, like Rick mentioned, or then on the acquisition side, we're just using one or two investors on that side as well.
So then on the acquisition side, it's a JV that you're doing?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a pure loan. We've done it in different structures depending on who's investing there.
Got it.
Okay. Awesome. So if someone wants to invest with you guys, what's the best way to reach out to you, or any information they can find online to better, gauge and understand it a little more in depth?
Yeah, definitely. We like phone calls. We like having that relationship. We'll get on Zoom calls, but my phone number, you can paste it on the screen. Oh, I guess we can't. We're live, right? You can put it in the notes, maybe.
Yeah, we can definitely put it on there.
My cell phone number is 817-845-6764. My email address is rick@TexasSecuredNotes.com, and that's the website as well. www.TexasSecuredNotes.com.
We're both on LinkedIn.
And we're both on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's hard to explain notes. We were just having a conversation with an investor right before we got on this podcast, and she had multiple questions about things. And it's hard to explain it in such a short amount of time. But once you understand it, it's super simple. We actually had an investor not too long ago. We were walking her through the process. She'd never not bought a note before. She was more familiar with multifamily or fix and flips and things like that, but she was not familiar with a note. So she purchased a note from us, and she called us up and she said, it really worked. It really worked. And it's really easy because there's no closing costs. We've already handled all the closing costs. So as an investor, you're just buying the note, and it happens within a week or less, and there's no closing costs, and the due diligence is one time, and it's super simple as well. So we just laugh that it's harder to articulate what a note is, what that looks like. You're simply being the bank, and it's a beautiful thing to be on that side of the table.
Right. One more question, and you guys probably said this, but I just don't remember. How long is that note that the investor have, as invested in?
Yeah, typically our notes are written for 15 years.
Okay.
That's kind of, we have written some for longer. We just wrote one a month ago for 7 years. They just wanted to pay it off fast. We said, okay, we'll give you a little bit better interest rate. And so it's a 7-year note that we're turning around and selling to somebody. So that's a higher cash flow option for somebody. They're going to receive those funds a lot faster. But on average, we're going to say 15. I'm going to say 15 years is what ours look like. Now, does that mean that you have to be invested in this note for 15 years? No.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bank of America originates a note, and 6 months later they sell it to another bank, and
Right.
3 years later another bank buys it. I think
Mm-hmm.
if you've ever had a mortgage, you've had this happen to you. There is a secondary market for your note.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to, let's say $100,000 note written at 10% for 15 years is going to pay out over $1,000 a month. You hold on to this note for 2 years. You've now made over $25,000 off of this note, and you want to sell this note to somebody else. Well, the note pricing is based off of the principal balance. Principal balance started at $100,000, and after 2 years, even though they've paid in $24,000, the principal is like $96,000. So you can turn around and sell that note there, and you've already made 25,000 plus, and you can sell the note for 96. Same thing. Let's say 5 years down the road, they sell the property or they refinance. What's going to happen then? Well, they're going to give you back 100% of that principal balance. They're going to pay off that first lien position. So that principal amount that has barely gone down over the first 5 years is going to come back to you. And you made your 10, 11, 12% money from the word go until that transaction takes place. So you've made a good return on your money, and then you get all of your principal back. You take that out and go do it again. So I'd say all that to let you know,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's a 15-year note, very few of them last for 15 years. At some point, somebody's going to sell or refinance along the way.
Right, makes sense.
And do they usually sell for that principal amount? So you don't get a premium. You'll sell it for that 96K, or will somebody pay you a little more because of the future cash flows?
So yes, it's a phenomenal question. Typically, we sell our notes right now in this current economic environment at par or slightly discounted. Maybe discount at 5%, 10%. And that's because of where we are in this market cycle. As interest rates go down, there are going to be fewer available notes written at 10% plus. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Which, just like bond math, as interest rates affect bonds, then they begin selling at a premium. It's completely plausible that 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you can sell at a premium, exactly what you were saying, at a higher than par value. Can I guarantee that? Absolutely not. But
right.
That's certainly possible.
Yeah, got it.
I really thank you for explaining about land loans, and I think you guys did a great, amazing explanation on this, because I have asked this before years ago when someone was talking about selling me notes, and they didn't know how to explain the land situation, and maybe that's the reason why they were having a hard time finding investors. But definitely, is there anything else that you want to share to the audience as far as how you guys work before we close it out?
I would say for us, it's about relationships and not just transaction. And again, like we said, someone that's never bought a note before, they're going to come back. I mean, I would say confidently over 90% of our investors that have never bought a note, they come back within a few months later or 6 months later and go, okay, I like this. I want to buy another one. So a big thing for us is building that relationship, building that trust. You were talking about self-directed IRAs. We met our first investor that we did a fix and flip with back in 2010. We couldn't sell that. We turned that into an owner finance project. Well, he is still currently an investor today. And so it just shows the relationship and building that and that trust. And we're here to walk with our investors and do more deals together and grow investments and wealth together and leave that legacy together.
I like that. I like that.
Yep. I like it.
For me, I would say we do believe notes are the goats. And there's a lot to that, but everybody understands rentals and everybody understands multifamily and fix and flips, because that road has been gone down millions of times, thousands of times, but very few people understand notes. So it is the Wild West still in notes, because there hasn't been that many people that have done them and originated them. So if you're interested in notes, there's plenty of opportunities to get education out there. There's plenty of places to find notes, but I would put this out there. If you're a first-time note investor, please make sure you get that lender's title policy that says that you're in first lien position. Please make sure you're utilizing a third-party servicer, and definitely make sure you're buying a note that has an RMLO, a third party to say, this is a good note, that these people have the ability to repay that. So there's a couple of gotchas that I would say, just wherever you buy a note from, make sure you've got those three things, and you'll end up loving them.
Great.
No, this is great. No, definitely, it's good to know if I'm gonna move forward, or anyone else is looking to buy notes with someone else. These are the things you got to keep in mind. Thinking about that, you guys should have a shirt that says "Notes are goats," and I think it's great.
Hey, what was it, about a year ago? I did buy the domain just in case I wanted to do something.
Oh, that'd be great.
Nice. Nice. Good move.
All right. So, Rick, Crystal, thank you so much for, chiming in and tell us a little bit more about notes. It's simple, but at the same time, for folks that don't understand how that works outside, most of the people are used to multifamily or, flips and fix and stuff like that. But notes is kind of hard, even though it's so simple. In my mind, I was trying to figure that out, but thank you for chiming in. And if you guys are watching this, you have any questions, you can catch them on their website, TexasSecuredNotes. If you would like to connect with them on LinkedIn or Facebook, send me a DM or Chihiro, and we can connect you guys with them directly. All right. So thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend and stay tuned for the next show. Take care.
For having us.
Thank you, guys.
You guys.
Right. Take care.